Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Penguin Nonsense. I am your host, Edith, and it's another Monday, another week. We are literally days away from Christmas, and I know I've been saying this a lot on the podcast. So what is it? A whole week before Christmas. So that's something to look forward to. 7 days, 7 full days, because I think it's on a Monday, but for us Mexicans, it's on a Sunday. So I think that's great. So I hope everybody is excited, just as excited as I am, just counting the days. I hope y'all have your presents wrapped and whatnot. I'm obviously a late Christmas shopper, so I still have nothing. Well, I have like a few gifts here and there, but I still have a lot to buy. So, probably will always procrastinate like always. Probably wait until like Thursday to buy everything. So that'll be fun, I think. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how I survive through life. And other than that, let's see. And then that's it. That's it. So let's get on with our first story of today. Alrighty. So, as some of y'all know, I'm not a hardcore Swiftie or anything like that. My husband, I know it's so weird saying husband, but my husband believes otherwise. He thinks I am a hardcore Swiftie, but honestly, I know the lyrics, I know the songs, but I don't go as hard as to like collecting all these albums and merchandise and all that stuff. So I don't really consider myself that much, if just a fan, if anything, but he begs to differ. But I saw this news article about this one store and how about this rare Taylor Swift record. And like that's how you know, like, I'm not a big hardcore fan because I didn't even know about this record, of how, like, I guess amazing this was or whatnot, or how rare it was. But I thought it was an interesting article because it goes, hundreds of copies of a rare Taylor Swift record were still available at one Cutsdown record shop until the Swifties found out. Hundreds of copies of a highly coveted Taylor Swift vinyl release have been inconspicuously hanging out on the shelves of one Berks County record shop for the last 7 months. When superfans found out, they went into a frenzy, descending on Cuxtown for a chance to own the record. Some drove for more than a dozen hours, flew hundreds of miles, and even messaged strangers and offered bribes for a chance to own a copy of the rare LP. Now, the shop, Young Ones Records, has one final copy left of a lucky Swiftie. Since Swift released Folklore: The Long Pond Studio Sessions, a live version of her Disney Plus documentary in April, the double LP was a record store day exclusive that retailed for about $50, with 75,000 albums pressed and sold exclusively at independent record shops throughout the country, and 40,000 more internationally, making Record Store Day's largest pressing. The record first hit shelves. Shops saw fans sign up in the early hours to snag a copy. Most of the records sold instantly, and fans accepted that either they would not get one in their collection or succumb to resellers who marked up the album to desperate fans. Brian Warmer, 37, lives in Chicago but also originally from Lancaster. He and his husband, Ryan Chris, are record collectors and recent yet dedicated Swiftie. Seeing that era's tour film twice and buying every album of Swift's on vinyl except one, the Long Pond Studio Sessions. The record store they released became his white whale. He'd check eBay and a record collecting site, Discogs, for listing, but they were more expensive than he was willing to pay. While doing a periodic Facebook search for the mentions of Long Pond still in stock, he stumbled upon a post from Young Ones Records in Berks County. He called the shop and they confirmed that they had the record, but wouldn't ship it. Naturally, when Warmer in Chicago heard of the remaining copies, he did what anyone would do. He asked his mom for help. I called my mom, Doris Whitmer, who lives in Lancaster still, and asked if she'd be able to go to the Young Ones and pick me up a copy and ship it to me. Warmer said she drove an hour-ish drive and was able to buy one, and I had it within a week. Young Ones, a 33-year-old mom-and-pop shop, is owned by Chris Holt, who knows how important Swift is to the residents of her home county, not country. Previously, he's ordered and sold out of other indie store releases from Swift, including hundreds autographed folklore CDs. So when the opportunity came to place orders on April's record store day releases, Holt requested 1,000 copies of the Long Pond Studio Sessions, thinking he probably wouldn't get them all, until he did. Other stores either just couldn't afford to order as many copies or didn't understand the power of Taylor Swift. Holt said, and any other store could have ordered as many as it did. They just chose not to. Holt said his goal was to make sure he ordered enough copies to ensure everyone in Berks County who cared about Swift was guaranteed the ability to purchase one. But Holt said fans were used to the other shops being sold out. They automatically assumed Young Ones was out of stock, a problem he's never encountered before. We tried to make it obvious as possible as that we had the record, Holt said. We kept copies in the front row. We had a sign on the door in the front window saying that we had the record. We mentioned it in our newsletter. Still, for 7 months, Holt sold an average of 10 to 12 copies of the record per week. In 33 years, I've never done with anything like that before. So, a fateful Facebook post changed that, attracting the right fans who posted about the remaining records of Taylor Swift message boards, social media pages, and subreddits. Then the Swifties came flocking. Save for a few, Young Ones stood firm on only selling the record locally, and they also limited the sales to 1 copy per person, to benefit local fans, not greedy sellers. For a past Swift release, the shop went as far as selling half of its stock to anyone and the other half only to locals who presented an ID providing they lived close by. So this time was different. One buyer flew from Colorado, another from Mississippi, another from Indiana. And eventually the article goes on to talk about like all these people who like came in from like very far away, and that kind of stuff, like people who've driven hours, people who've done like 15-hour trips, 6-year-old people, and that kind of stuff. And it just pretty much like all like kinds of different aspects of people just coming into the store and stuff like that. But I thought it was a cool story. Is the guy was like, Taylor Swift was from around here and hopefully, her fans are going to come and buy it. And then all of a sudden it's like, we're not buying it. Did this thing just go down? I don't know. I felt like it went down a little bit. But I thought that was funny to me, because I was like, yeah, I mean, if I was that much of a hardcore fan, I would at least bother to look at every one of their record places. So I thought that was interesting. It sucks that maybe the guy was like, dang, now I'm stuck with 1,000 pieces, 1,000 records for no reason. But I mean, he said he was at least selling like 10 or something a week, so I think that's good. But I thought it was an interesting thing. I think it's interesting how We are literally living in the Taylor Swift's era type of year this year, and I guess probably a little bit going into next year. I feel like whether you are a Swiftie or not, I feel like you have heard of it. I feel like you're either tired of hearing it of her or loving hearing of her. I feel like she's a person who everybody by now knows, whether they wanted to or not. And she's either one of those people you either like or don't like. And to each their own. I personally do like her. So I definitely wouldn't make the drive as these people have just to get this record. I love record labels. Like, I have a collection of my own, but I definitely would not drive that or anything like that just to get my hands on this one specific. I'm sure it's going to be worth some money later on since they were very exclusive. It was a very exclusive record, but I thought it was an interesting story. I thought I'd let y'all know how powerful the Swifties are. And I think we've all noticed throughout this year the things that the Swifties can do. But it was interesting. It was interesting to me. So let me know what you guys think of Swiftie. Are y'all Swifties? Any Swifties out there? Or if y'all think that she's so overrated and y'all are just done with her, let me know that too. We all have our differences and just interested to hear what y'all have to say. I'm not here to change anybody's mind. I've always told y'all that, but just thought it was an interesting read of this whole, like, it goes to show you how, like, one post can make or break in even a tiny mom and pop shop because, they had all these records. And I mean, I'm sure they weren't struggling or anything to be afloat, but to have that many people just all of a sudden come swarming the store and, like, not just being like local people, but to be like people who are actually like flying from hours and hours to get there had to be crazy. But I'm really glad that this person, this record store did not go in for just like, oh, the money, like, oh, well, now we're gonna rock up the prices, or since we're like one of the few stores that still have it, or decide that we're gonna sell them. If people want to buy them, people want to buy. Like, if somebody wants to take 20, then let them take 20. I'm really glad that they set up these rules of like you can only get one, and he did like half outside, and then the other half was just for locally surrounding people. So then, and the fact that they had to present an ID, I think it was amazing. It was amazing the way he kept this very straight, in that I'm not sure if everyone who got one was a fan, but I feel like if you go through that much of a process, then you really had to be a fan to get the hands on it. So it's pretty nice of the guy, and I hope they keep going and growing, and I hope that their next 50 release is just as good for them. So check them out. And we go on to our second story of the day. This one is from Reddit, and it's from the Am I the A-hole forum, and it's from Am I the A-hole _SIL_ throwaway. So it's throwaway account, and it was posted 2 hours ago, so it's pretty recent. This one is titled, Am I the a-hole for not helping my sister-in-law regain family's respect? That sounds like an a-hole to me, but okay, let's find out. So, this is a weird situation. My brother, Jim, 27, has been married to Sally, 25, for the past year. Sally is a sweet, soft-spoken woman, and the whole family loves her. Or loved her. However, at Thanksgiving this year, they made the announcement that they were pregnant. Everyone was overjoyed. The problem came when Dad asked Jim how excited he was to be a dad, and Jim said, I will be super excited once we get the DNA test done. He said it so casually that we were all confused, and Sally looked mortified. Dad asked why he thinks that the kid isn't his. He tried to explain that Sally hasn't cheated or anything, but all men should get DNA tests done on their kids to prove that they are the fathers. I think my dad understood what he was saying, but my mom and grandma have been giving Sally the cold shoulder ever since. I don't think Sally cheated on my brother. It's just him being stupid, but grandma said, where there is smoke, there is fire. And that even if she got pregnant by Jim, that just makes her a smart whore. That's stupid, but okay. The current issue is she hasn't been included on planning for the big family Christmas. She is still invited, and my family will be nice to her and everything, but mom and grandma would not let her plan the menu or do any of the decorating. I can tell this is really getting to Sally because she loves Christmas and family togetherness and all that kind of stuff. Last week, my brother called me and asked me to try to convince mom and grandma to let her participate more. I told him no because they just don't see her the same anymore. He called me a cunt and since then he hasn't spoken to me. Should I try to convince my family, that Sally hasn't actually cheated? Oh, I can't even with this one. How do you, first of all, how do you go from being like, oh, we'll find out whenever we get the DNA test, like, what is that supposed to mean? Like, there's only one reason why you say, oh, until we get the DNA test is because you're either sure she has cheated or that's it. That's it. Like, you, for some reason, something happened where you really truly believe that you are not the father of this. It's not something you typically joke about. And if you do, I think y'all need to reevaluate what y'all doing. I don't understand why he called his sister to tell, like, the mom and dad that, or the mom and grandma, that they need to let her be more involved and stuff. If he, how do I say, if he really meant that as a joke, the whole, like, oh, we'll see when the DNA comes, then why doesn't he step up and be like, hey, I was just saying that as a joke. Like, I didn't mean it for real. Like, she's fine. I am really happy. Please don't push her off like that. Like, be a man and, take, I guess, credit for what you've done and face up to what you have to do now. Like, why would you call your sister to make sure that she's the one who has to put herself in there to even do this for you? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So, I'm pretty like, why Sally should not have to go through this, especially so early in their life and their marriage. But somebody had made a really good comment, and I didn't save it. But I wish I would have. But so far right now, like, the most top one is poor Sally. I feel so bad for her. I'd be spending Christmas with my own family. How horrible. And I was like, right? I mean, I would be spending it with my family after that. So I was like, somebody was like, nothing I hope, but Sally, you should leave your brother and the family. But Sally should leave your brother and the family. But I feel like your family jumped quick to cheating when not even knowing about it. Your brother is the one who needs to fix this mess too. So, like, for the most part, from what I'm seeing, most people are like, yeah, he needs to be the one who needs to fix this. And no, she's not the a-hole for not stepping up to take this role. So, yeah, I mean, that sucks for her. Whoever Sally is, I'm sure the names got changed and whatnot, but girl, check whatever is going on there because, Yeah, it's probably not good. I don't know what's going on with my mic today, you guys. I don't know why it keeps going down. It keeps going down. But anyways, we're fixing it. Or I'm fixing it. And it just keeps going down. Maybe it's just me. I think it just keeps going down. Anyways. So, let me know what you guys think. Oh, there's another leopard over there, you guys. And this is why I'm not the one behind tech stuff. But oh no, my eye. My eye! I'm sorry. I got something in my eye. Okay. Alright. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this story. Let me know if y'all agree that she is or if she isn't the a-hole. If she is the a-hole, why y'all think she is the a-hole? If she's not the a-hole, then why y'all guys don't think she's the a-hole? And I know at the beginning when I read the title, I was like, yes, you are the a-hole, because like, why wouldn't you? But after reading the situation, I would be like, okay, it makes sense. Like, yeah, maybe you're not the a-hole, because it should be the person who made this problem their problem, not you. So I agree. And it doesn't look like Sally did anything wrong, so I don't know. I hate that for her. So hope she gets a better treatment from this family soon. So we'll see how that goes. And on to our last story of today. Yay! This one is gonna be like a minute long. And it goes, Oceans, Greenpeace crew save humpback whale trapped in fishing gear. On October 21st, and I'm sorry, some of these stories are a little older because, like, at least this one. It's so hard to find good news nowadays, you guys. And I try really hard to find good news for y'all because I feel like when you always need to end on a good news because, like, it's the start of the week, we gotta end up with something good. But sometimes it's so hard to find the newer ones, so bear with me, okay? But it goes, on October 21st, the crew of Greenpeace ship Arctic Sunrise rescued a hunchback whale entangled in fishing gear. Entanglement with fishing gear claims the lives of over 300,000 dolphins and whales every year, making it the leading cause of mortality for these majestic animals. The rescue underscores the precarious situation that marine mammals in the high seas face. Governments must urgently rectify the Global Oceans Treaty to ensure the protection of whales and all other marine species. And I agree with that statement. I mean, I feel like we're so advancing technology and so much stuff that we have, or like, I know a lot of like whale stuff, like their blubber and stuff we use for like cosmetics and stuff. And I'm sure the reason why they hunt these whales has something to do with it or whatnot. And I'm sure their stuff has more other uses, but I know that was like the main one that I knew of was like makeup. So I understand that that people can't really help how we get things, but at the same time, like, I feel like we are so advanced that we don't really need to be killing all these animals in order to get what we need. But I know that also involves putting more chemicals into our stuff, so I don't know. It's a pick your poison type of thing, but I really do feel like this needs to be rectified. But I'm really glad that they were able to save this well, because that's awesome. I always feel bad for them, like when I see the movies and I see them like trying to capture something or like kill them to capture them, like, it makes me so sad because the poor little whale, like, all I've ever known is the ocean and being free, and all of a sudden they're in pain. Like, they just get, like, it's not